and welcome to The Classroom, an investigative series from Free Speech TV and More Perfect Union. I'm Mark Winston Griffith. In The Classroom, reporters from More Perfect Union examine the corporate forces shaping today's economy to better understand why it's so damn hard for regular folks to catch a break. Like, did you ever wonder why the leg of your brand new couch has already broken? And why furniture we buy these days falls apart so easily? In today's Classroom, Sanya Dasani takes us shopping for a coffee table and discovers some valuable lessons about today's fast furniture.
So I've been looking for a coffee table recently, but shopping for furniture online sucks. You can't tell what anything really looks like or feels like. You can't test the couches.
I've also heard a lot of horror stories about new furniture falling apart quickly.
6 weeks in, this couch pills so badly.
I'm sitting here and all of a sudden, crack.
Ow, another nail!
I regret it so much, it makes me literally want to cry. I don't want this sofa anymore.
I figured I needed to shop in person, so I came to Wayfair's new brick-and-mortar store in Chicago. I also asked a furniture expert to join me. Coco Ree Lemery spent years as a furniture designer for places like Pottery Barn and Williams-Sonoma. I have to say, looking around the store was super fun. Way better than scrolling on their website.
You can connect your TV sound to the table via Bluetooth, just like you always wanted.
But right away, Coco noticed two big things about the furniture there. First, almost everything was a cheap copycat of another design.
This gets very close to a Windsor chair, the wishbone chair is that one.
And second, a lot of stuff was low quality.
This is actually designed to go here. Here you go, little buddy.
It's not just Wayfair, it's becoming harder to find well-designed quality furniture, even if you're willing to spend a little extra.
Price absolutely does not indicate quality in the furniture industry.
I wanted to know what does indicate quality. So I bought this little guy from Wayfair and this vintage table online with similar design features. I took them both to Coco's studio to run a few durability tests. What we found explained a lot about how furniture used to be made versus now, and what the future of furniture might look like. There was no Wayfair or Overstock or Amazon when my parents bought their first home in the late 80s in Ohio. There wasn't even an IKEA in our town. They relied on their neighbors and community to get used furniture like this side table. I found the exact same one on a furniture resale site. It's worth over $1,000. Definitely not something they'd have been able to afford at the time. When I moved into my first apartment in the city, they gave it to me. There's still a little bit of water damage, but it still looks good and it's standing sturdy. But when I look around at the furniture I bought myself, it's mostly boring IKEA designs, some Eames dupes, and literally outdoor furniture from Amazon. I doubt any of it will last till my next apartment, let alone the next generation.
It comes in pieces. If you have to re-screw it, you've already ruined it because it's not actually wood.
I was talking about this with my coworker Gerald, and he showed me this beautiful table his grandmother bought in the 90s.
Damn, when did it become rare to actually have a solid wood table? When did this kind of thing stop being accessible to someone like my grandma, average income, and has this heirloom table? There's nothing rickety on that table at all.
If you bought furniture in the US before the mid-2000s, chances are it was made in North Carolina. Both of these tables were, this one by a company called Broyhill, and this one by Henderson, founded by former Broyhill employees. These days, North Carolina's furniture industry isn't doing so well, but when Broyhill was founded in 1926, it was kind of the perfect place to get into the furniture business. The state's first furniture factory had opened in the 1880s in a city called High Point. Then, at the turn of the century, High Point started holding a huge furniture expo, where buyers spent billions of dollars on furnishings to sell in stores across the country. By the 60s, a full 60% of all furniture made in America would come from this 125-mile radius, and by the 80s, it had earned the nickname the Furniture Capital of America, beating out Chicago, New York City, and even Grand Rapids, Michigan, which was literally called Furniture City at the time. How did they do it? Well, making furniture comes down to 4 things: design, material, production, and transportation. North Carolina furniture makers were uniquely positioned to have an edge on all 4 of those. They didn't spend time or money on design, they just copied the pieces made by popular furniture companies of the day. And as for materials, half the state is forest, full of hardwood trees, pine, oak, chestnut, and maple, perfect for making sturdy furniture. They found ways to cut production costs by making the furniture with cheaper woods and then covering it in hardwood veneers. Other ways to cut costs? Those early furniture companies focused on mass producing a few basic items, and they had access to a huge pool of cheap labor willing to do it. After low crop prices in the late 1800s ushered in an agricultural depression, North Carolina's black sharecroppers and poor white tenant farmers quit farming and got better jobs in furniture factories. They were paid about $821 per year, about half of what the furniture workers in the North were paid. Race was a huge factor in keeping wages low. As one economic geographer wrote in 1934, "A great black laboring force has always done the hard labor of the South and is willing to do so and oftentimes do it better for less wages than those paid the white man." Factory owners also exploited the racial divide to prevent workers from unionizing, allowing them to pay both black and white workers less. Obviously, having such low wages was a big part of why North Carolina could make furniture so much cheaper than New York and Chicago and Michigan. But this exact pattern, the industry moving its center to wherever the cheapest labor was, would repeat itself in less than a century. We'll get to that in a minute. The other big reason High Point became America's furniture capital was that it was perfectly located to transport all that furniture to stores across the country. It sat on the highest point of this railroad line. Get it? High Point. This one is important because if there's one enduring truth about furniture, it's that it's a pain in the ass to move.
Pivot! Pivot! Pivot!
So to buy furniture back then, you'd pick out something from a showroom near you, then it would be carefully shipped to you by trusted professionals, and you'd probably keep that same piece for decades, maybe even pass it down to your kids. Even as globalization started shifting other industries in the 70s and 80s, High Point remained the center of US furniture manufacturing. Because how would you even ship a king-size bed across the ocean? The way to do it, it turns out, is so simple a moose can explain it.
The idea is beautiful Swedish design furniture at our lowest possible price. You pick up your catalog, choose the item, pick it up, take it home, and put it together.
Right. So those beautiful Swedish designs tended to be simple and focus on detachable elements so that everything could fit in a flat pack box. They also used lighter materials like MDF and particle board, which are made from wood chips, sawdust, and shavings, glued together in the shape of a board. Knockdown furniture, as it's also called, can be shipped easily and more efficiently, and the customers save some of the labor costs by putting it together themselves. When IKEA opened its first store in the US in 1985, only 2% of the furniture in the US was flat packed. Within 7 years, it was up to 10%.
It definitely readjusted what people expect. No one is expecting a full piece of furniture to arrive at their doorstep fully assembled.
With the rise of flat-packed furniture, North Carolina was starting to lose some of its competitive edge because now it wasn't that important for factories to be located close to the retail stores. Remember how North Carolina's cheap labor made it the manufacturing center of the US? Well, you know who has even cheaper labor than North Carolina? China. That became extremely relevant in 1999 with the US-China World Trade Organization agreement. The US agreed to cut tariffs on Chinese imports, and China would do the same for US imports. This was meant to foster more trade.
We'll be able to export products without exporting jobs.
What actually happened was the opposite of that. Through the 2000s, American furniture makers started moving factories from North Carolina to China, laying off more than 1,000 American workers a year. By 2005, 36% of their sales came from furniture they imported from China. But don't worry, that backfired for them pretty quickly. The Chinese factory owners they contracted with learned how to make American-style furniture and started their own companies competing directly with US manufacturers. Here's how important cheap labor is. Chinese companies could import US lumber, make the furniture, ship it back to the US for assembly, and still afford to sell it for less than American companies could. Within 7 years, 60% of the US furniture market was controlled by Chinese companies. There were 700,000 Americans working in furniture manufacturing in 2000. By 2010, it was down to about 350,000, half the industry gone in a decade. Factory closures hit North Carolina the hardest. Entire towns were left unemployed.
That is what we live off of here in this county is furniture.
And in 2007, as if to put salt in the wound, IKEA opened a warehouse just an hour away from High Point. There's one more important part of IKEA's strategy that the Moose didn't mention, but you can see it in this IKEA ad from 2002 that Spike Jonze directed for some reason.
Many of you feel bad for this lamp. That is because you're crazy. It has no feelings, and the new one is much better.
In other words, forget heirlooms for your grandkids, throw away your old furniture, and buy new. And they got people to do it by continuously dropping prices. Get the prices down and you increase sales. We created that demand, not the consumer, a former IKEA exec told The Guardian. Look at this IKEA catalog from 1985, the year the first US store opened. These 4 iconic products are still for sale today, but they cost less now than they did back then. How is that possible? Before I answer that, I need to tell you about one more thing that disrupted the furniture industry: racksandstands.com. Never heard of them? Well, you've probably bought something from them, or as they're known today, Wayfair. At first, racksandstands.com only sold, well, racks and stands, but today Wayfair sells every type of home furnishing. They have a massive catalog of more than 14 million products. Compare that to IKEA's measly 12,000. But their strategy has remained the same since the racks and stands days. Drop shipping Chinese-made furniture with free delivery.
It's important to note that Wayfair doesn't design anything. They're just working with like over 11,000 suppliers. They're gonna take the photos, add it to their website. They might give it a different name. Then when a customer goes on to a Wayfair and buys that lamp, they'll go, oh, hey, supplier, I need you to fulfill this order for me. Can you please package it up and deliver it to this person? You don't have to own any of the supply and you can still sell it.
Other direct-to-consumer brands popped up throughout the 2010s. Most of them use a fast fashion business model. Instead of selling a few well-made pieces that could last a lifetime, they have every single micro-aesthetic possible. Wayfair today is actually these 5 sites, each focusing on a different style and price point. And since consumers started focusing more on trends than quality, manufacturers realized they could cut all kinds of corners: cheaper materials and shoddy construction. This is what I wanted to dig into with Coco.
If I had to guess, this was made 70s, maybe 80s.
We chose to compare these 2 tables because they seemed representative of their eras. The Wayfair table was made in China. It's shipped partially disassembled in a flat pack box, and it's marketed for its classic style, not to last long, but to match a customer's current aesthetic preference. This table, from Ethan Allen, was likely made in North Carolina. It was probably delivered in a single piece, and it was built with the classic style so that it could be used for generations.
This is obviously a maple table.
Yeah.
What's very exciting is the 2-tier level. That's something that you don't really see anymore.
It also has a solid wood drawer.
Modern drawers are always going to be made out of like plywood or particle board.
And that's when there are drawers at all.
Companies are hesitant to put drawers and doors in storage because that just makes the product so much more expensive.
The other thing to note about this drawer is the way it's attached to the table.
These beautiful dovetail joints that you can kind of see as they flare out, and that just helps with grip and the joinery, the way that it's connected, making for really solid construction. A really beautiful design feature and lends itself to the durability of the overall piece.
What's the less good way to join?
Oh man, I mean, you can see everything from it just glued or pinned in place. There's probably 100 different ways that you could make this drawer, but the dovetail would be in the top 5 ways in terms of quality.
Yeah. First up, a materials test.
Okay, so I'm going to start in this one area where you do see a little bit of water damage here. So obviously this looks like this is still the maple. So my guess would be that this is actually solid maple and not veneered at all. I don't know if you saw that water damage that was there, but just by knocking it down, I could very easily sand this entire thing and refinish it, no problem.
Meanwhile, the Wayfair table.
So as you can see, we've got our primer layer underneath. And we also have MDF, a medium density fiberboard. The dust from MDF is far more dangerous than the dust of plywood or any sawdust. It's also really bad for water. Old IKEA lac tables or something that get really bubbly, that's because water has penetrated the MDF layer.
Next, we decided to test how strong the tables were with a little tensile strength test.
Okay, let's see this next one. Okay, beautiful. Let's go check out our chunks. First of all, this is really impressive to me, like super impressive that it really only broke along the seam line. And you can tell that that is maple all the way through. And also like around the apron, like this is still screwed together. The stretchers, you don't see any damage at all. And then you can see that the MDF top just very easily ripped out of the whole threaded insert. And you can see what the composite is made of for the MDF.
It feels soft.
Yeah,
it's like
feels
paper.
almost like paper.
Yeah.
You can see similar trends with couches. MDF and particle board instead of solid wood frames, and in place of traditional joinery techniques, they attach the pieces together with brackets so you can assemble it at home. Today's couches also cut corners on leather quality and use lower density foam inside. It's no wonder couches are less comfortable and don't last as long. This is also how IKEA manages to keep lowering the price on the same item, and the strategy works. Today, IKEA reports selling one Billy bookcase every 5 seconds and making one every 3 seconds. All these trends have caused furniture to get cheaper relative to the price of other consumer goods. Today, you can furnish an apartment for less than the cost of 1 month's rent in some places. And I think it's important to say here, for a lot of us, fast furniture is our only option. As housing prices skyrocket and wages stay stagnant, most of us can't afford new high-quality furniture, and looking for stuff secondhand is time-intensive. So until we solve these issues, fast furniture probably isn't going anywhere. That was especially evident during the pandemic. During the lockdown, I started working from home and bought a desk from Wayfair, and I wasn't the only one. Wayfair was up 50% in customers. Fast furniture hasn't even reached its peak, but it's already led us to dystopian places, like Amazon announcing a $20 couch. You know that thing's gonna end up in a landfill within a year. Now, to sum things up, I'm gonna turn to an unexpected source.
North Carolina, you were the furniture capital of the world, but now so much of that business has been stolen from you, and it's made in China and other places. You buy some of these chairs that they sell you now, they break after about 2 months. People are laying on the floor. And then on top of it all, you get sued because they fell out of a chair at a hotel.
That sounds a little too specific to be hypothetical. At first glance, this narrative sounds really similar to the one I've told you, but they do differ in some key ways, so let's take it one part at a time. First, it's true that North Carolina furniture jobs moved overseas, but it's worth noting that these were still decisions made by CEOs. If more companies had prioritized their workers over profits during that transition, the impact could have been less severe on American workers. The other claim Trump makes is that furniture got worse because of this move to China. But just because your furniture was made in Asia, it doesn't mean it's inherently worse.
When you visit these factories, there's like beautiful craftsmen and women bringing these products to life and giving them individual care and attention.
Plus, a single factory is probably making high, medium, and low quality furniture.
All the furniture companies are sourcing from like the same 10 major places.
So Wayfair stuff, Restoration Hardware stuff could be being made by the same
Crate
factory.
and Barrel, yeah, they could all be made by the same factory very easily.
And what you don't hear Trump talk about is what happens when those retailers set super low prices. It puts the burden on factories to meet those price points.
The factories are in bidding wars against each other.
Right.
You're sending out one spec, and sometimes you're getting 2 different samples from 2 different places, and oftentimes you're going with the cheapest one.
Only one person can win that contract.
That's how you end up with videos like these, showing furniture workers in Vietnam brought in to eat, sleep, and work at the factory.
The only people positively benefiting are people who are like C-level executives who basically show investors, oh, look at how much profit I've driven.
Trump claims to have the solution for the entire American furniture industry: tariffs.
All of your furniture makers are going to come back and come back bigger and stronger and better than ever before.
That's an interesting promise, because Trump had already imposed higher tariffs on China during his first term, and Biden left those tariffs in place, so they've been in effect for nearly a decade now, and still furniture jobs have continued to decline in North Carolina. Chinese manufacturers simply moved their factories to countries that aren't subject to US tariffs, like Vietnam. The other reason tariffs aren't going to bring jobs back for US furniture workers is that tariffs are just one small part of a furniture company's overhead costs.
Human labor is the most valuable thing on the planet. It's always the question of where can we find the cheapest human labor.
So the factories will just follow wherever the cheapest labor is.
Wages have always been the driving force behind the furniture industry's move, first from Michigan, Chicago, and New York to North Carolina, then to China, and now to Vietnam and other countries. And what effect will tariffs have on consumers? Well, furniture companies claim tariffs will force them to raise prices, but we should be skeptical of that narrative as well. IKEA's strategy of lowering prices to increase consumer demand shows that their prices can and will change regardless of various countries' trade policy. Tariffs are neither a magic bullet to bring back jobs, nor are they the only reason that you might pay higher prices. The reason why nearly 500,000 American furniture workers lost their jobs is the same reason your couch sucks. Choices made by modern multinational corporations to prioritize profits at the expense of workers and consumers. So, if we want to make America great at domestic furniture production again, how do we do it? Well, North Carolina's furniture industry is not dead. High Point Market still brings in $6.73 billion into the state each year. That's the equivalent of 4 Super Bowls. And big CEOs can follow the example of people like John Bassett, who fought tooth and nail to keep his furniture business in the US, saving hundreds of jobs. He actually got a lot of hate for doing that, from other furniture manufacturers, Washington lobbyists, and right-wing American economists. Beth Macy, who profiled Bassett for her book Factory Man, says that one economist told her, "In reality, we shouldn't be making bedroom furniture anymore in the United States." But Bassett believed those jobs had value and that they were important to his community. For workers in the Piedmont region, furniture manufacturing was a good, decent-paying job that people had pride in. If America is going to play a role in furniture manufacturing again, we need more people like Bassett who value both quality products and good jobs, instead of pitting consumers and workers against each other. As for my coffee table search, I ended up finding this one at a yard sale. It was made in North Carolina in the early 2000s by a company named Drexel, and it's in perfect condition. But the best part is I got it for $20.
I'm joined by Chai Dingari, the director of More Perfect Unions, the Classroom series. Thanks for being here, Chai.
Thanks for having me.
So, as someone who has spent way too much time in their life cursing Wayfair and IKEA furniture, I found this report so affirming. But the report Sanya brought us is, at its heart, a labor story. Do you have an update on this report at all?
Well, I guess it would be fair to say the most significant development that's happened since we published this video, because it came out before the inauguration, has been the trade war that the Trump administration has set off with China, with all sorts of other countries. I hesitate to even say a concrete update on what the tariffs are at now. There was just an update today on the China tariffs, that the Trump administration has secured a new deal. But I think it's fair to say that the trade war that Trump has set off has been chaotic, unfocused, and not really in the interest of working people. At More Perfect Union, we've covered in this piece and others how free trade has been a failure for working people, but that focused tariffs could be a tool that helps rebalance in the favor of American workers. And while Trump at times has pointed out that he wants to bring back manufacturing jobs as part of the reason for his trade war, the way it went about clearly did not work well. As we've seen, the chaotic back and forth nature of his trade tariff announcements only seem to benefit billionaires and the people in his administration. And we don't see a future right now where the problems we outlined in the Wayfair video have been solved, but hopefully in the future there will be future politicians, future administrations that do take seriously the imbalance in trade and how it's affected American workers and American consumers. But right now, we're still living in the midst of the chaos of the Trump tariff war.
Thanks for that, Chai. I know with the tariffs, this is going to be an ever-evolving or devolving story for that matter. So thank you, and thanks to everyone for attending class today. There are more lessons from the classroom coming soon to Free Speech TV. I'm Mark Winston Griffith. Stay curious and stay active.